First, this afternoon, we get a glimpse of the revamped Northwest campus. And in Houston, a woman held captive for a month bravely escapes.
Plus, the smell and taste of fresh baked bread this grandma has gone viral. Those stories and more, it's 1 o'clock and the newsfeed starts now. Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Isabel Price.
And I'm Amber Slaughter. When you head west on 820, you'll have a good view of 4 impressive new buildings that are in various stages of construction on our Northwest campus. It's part of a multi-year TCC Northwest redevelopment project. President Zarina Blankenbaker would also like everyone to see what's going on behind the brick and mortar, a band of facility and staff dedicated to the campus' goal of student success and respect for diversity.
2 TCC Connect administrators recently received the 2023 Alan Watson Award from the American Association of University Administrators. TCC Connect President Carlos Morales and Vice Chancellor and Provost Shelley Pearson were the recipients. The award is based on scholar quality, professional relevance, and importance and overall presentation of the program. Regarding the award, Pearson said, quote, "It is a great accomplishment for the entire TCC Connect campus. The award recognizes the effects of planning for quality on the ability to pivot or accommodate student changes in sudden changes in student enrollment activity," end quote. Our congratulations to them.
The trial is underway for a Timberview High School student charged with 3 counts of attempted capital murder. Prosecutors called their first witnesses from a long list of people who could possibly be called to testify. Chuck Ambrose has the story.
I was trying to call for help. She couldn't hear me.
Timberview High English teacher Mrs. Altman pushed through tears on the witness stand talking about a student fight turned school shooting. Now prosecutors are using cell phone video of the fight in the trial of shooting suspect Timothy Simpkins. They charged him with 3 counts of attempted capital murder.
I said to her, I was like, "Tila, like, get down, like they're shooting." And then I kind of paused and I was like in shock, and it dawned on me like, you need to call 911.
Mrs. Altman testified about the incident that occurred on October 6, 2021. The fight started after student Zach Selby arrived late to class. Timberview coach Dean Boyd responded to her calls for help, broke up the fight, and demonstrated for jurors how he warned teachers and students.
When I see him kind of bouncing around and I'm looking and he grabs his gun out of the waistband, and that's when I said, "He's got a gun, run."
Gunfire left Zach Selby injured and one of their classmates grazed by a bullet. Despite foregoing opening statements, Simpkins' attorneys made repeated objections to testimony from witnesses for the prosecution. The defense is expected to lay out the shooting stems from their client being bullied at school. Shooting victim Zach Selby is listed to possibly take the witness stand. No word yet if attorneys for Simpkins will put him on the stand as part of his defense.
The trial in the wrongful death lawsuit of Tony Timpa has been delayed until September. Timpa died in Dallas police custody more than 7 years ago after responding to a 911 call. According to his mother, Timpa suffered from schizophrenia and depression. Police records say Timpa ran out into traffic when 2 security guards restrained him. With Timpa's hands cuffed and feet zip ties, body camera footage shows Officer Dillard had his knee on Timpa's back for more than 13 minutes. Both sides had medical experts to testify on the cause of death. All 4 officers were expected to testify as well. Ahead of Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment trial, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick issued a sweeping gag order that scolded inflammatory public comments made by lawyers from both sides. Paxton's lead attorney canceled a news conference scheduled for Tuesday after the order was issued. State senators who will serve as Paxton's jury have already been barred from speaking publicly about the case, but Patrick is now reining in attorneys on both sides.
A Houston couple is behind bars accused of holding an 18-year-old woman captive for a month and sexually assaulting her. They were arrested Sunday night shortly after the woman managed to escape to her neighbor's house and call for help. Bryce Newberry has more on the investigation.
Inside this North Harris County home, Precinct 4 constable deputies say 31-year-old Jose Reyes and 29-year-old Jacqueline Macias have held an 18-year-old woman chained and zip-tied against her will for the last month.
She was forced into a bedroom and her hands and feet were bound by the defendants.
The victim lived in Pasadena, and Reyes allegedly lured her to the home about 30 miles away. Investigators say that was under the guise of furthering a relationship with him, but once she realized he was in a relationship with another woman and tried to leave,
she was kept chained up and locked in the room for approximately 30 days and sexually assaulted.
Overnight, after the suspects left her alone for a few minutes, she climbed out a bedroom window and ran to get help from neighbors.
And she did everything in her that she could, all her fibers she could bring to her strength to get out of her restraints. Just a very, very evil thing.
Both are now charged with kidnapping. Investigators searched the home for evidence Monday afternoon. During their first court appearances, a hearing officer set his bond at $100,000, hers at $50,000. Her public defender also revealed this.
The 2-week-old child that she has at home is actually also the co-defendant's child.
Both are due back in court tomorrow, and pending medical testing, more charges are possible. The victim went to the hospital and has now been reunited with her family.
Prices continue to increase under the Biden administration, and now the export of grain from Ukraine will have an impact. That story is coming. Stay with us.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
This fall, earn an art core credit that's fun and easy. There's a variety of dance appreciation sessions offered for 16, 14, and second 8-week courses. You'll learn the history and context of different dance genres, ranging from African, tap, modern, and ballet. The instructors are flexible to accommodate students' needs so they can successfully pass the course. Email Hyungjong or Najwa with any questions for Fall 2023 Dance Appreciation.
The Biden administration has announced $39 billion in student debt relief. 804,000 borrowers will have their student debt wiped away in the coming weeks due to administrative fixes. After reaching a set forgiveness threshold of 20 or 25 years, a borrower's remaining balance is forgiven. Student loan repayments resume in October after a years-long pause during the pandemic. Last month, the Supreme Court struck down Biden's loan forgiveness program to provide millions of borrowers up to $20,000 in a one-time federal student debt relief. Russia's decision to pull out of a deal allowing for the export of grain from Ukraine shocked global markets this week. The collapse of the agreement threatens to increase the cost of food, and millions around the world could feel the impact of higher prices. Gloria Pazmino is in New York to break it down.
As the fighting continues in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin announcing his decision to withdraw from a deal brokered by the UN and Turkey to allow grain exports from Ukraine through the Black Sea.
What Russia is doing now is striking at the political stability of many countries.
Ukraine is known as Europe's breadbasket, and it accounts for 10% of the world wheat market.
Ukraine is one of the major grain producers in the world, and countries in Africa and the Middle East in particular depend on receiving that grain.
The move sparking outrage.
It's unacceptable to hold hostage the hungriest people in the world because of some power play and aggression carried out by Moscow.
And dire warnings.
Hundreds of millions of people face hunger, and consumers are confronting a global cost of living crisis, and they will pay the price.
Here in the U.S., experts say people are largely shielded from the direct impact of higher grain prices due to strong domestic production. But the economy is not immune.
The U.S. is looking relatively strong on a global basis. But I do think that some of these sort of shocks, global supply chain shocks, could continue to reverberate and create that uncertainty.
While inflation is cooling overall, energy and food prices still remain stubbornly high, and the U.S. Federal Reserve is poised to hike interest rates yet again. In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Troopers at the southern border were reportedly told to push migrants back into the water and denying them drinking water. The Texas Department of Public Safety shared an email from a trooper medic to a supervisor expressing concerns over the quote, inhumane treatment of migrants. The trooper wrote that they were giving orders to push the people back into the water to go to Mexico, and were also giving orders not to give water to the migrants. When asked about the situation, a DPS spokesman said the Office of the Inspector General is investigating the incident. A mother of 6 is open about losing her youngest son while he was in custody with the Department of Family Protective Services. An autopsy revealed that he died from COVID-19 and another respiratory infection. But his mother said that his health was taken from her home. Madison Harper has more.
They killed my baby.
In September of 2022, Leah Joseph opened her front door to police, there to take her 2-year-old child, Panache Petrie. Authorities met her other 5 children to pick them up from school, all because of a call alleging Leah was smoking marijuana. She says even though that moment was horrifying, an even bigger nightmare would soon follow.
The cops came to my house and took the baby from my house. And 2 months later, he died in CPS custody.
Leah says her oldest child revealed daunting details of her children's stay at Garden of Hope.
He also told me that all the babies in there were sick with bumps all over their faces. That was in the nursery with my baby.
Through her attorney's investigation, she found the workers were not checking on the children enough. Her children say they weren't properly fed and the baby was covered in feces. Vic Feazell has spent decades in law and served as the McLennan County District Attorney. He says this case is appalling.
This is the worst because this was done by people you're supposed to be able to trust.
What's worse, Leah says, is how the case ended.
A week or 2 after my baby died, they just gave the kids back and closed the case.
So now, they are fighting for answers.
We're going to start the legal process next, and we're going to start discovery, and we're going to start making people answer for what they did.
Until then, Leah is choosing to remember what made her baby boy so special.
He liked the Ninja Turtles. I believe he thought that him and his brothers were Ninja Turtles.
With a live look towards South Dallas, the temperatures throughout Texas are extreme. Is ERCOT prepared on their end with the NewsFeed's return?
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Weather continues to peak in Texas, and another heat warning is in place. Since the blackout of February 2021, Texas residents have worried about another power outage. But as Monique Lopez reports, the risk of a brownout this summer has been significantly reduced.
An ERCOT weather watch through tomorrow makes it the second one issued in less than a month. That means higher temps are forecasted, combined with higher electrical demand and potential for lower reserves. Even with this blistering Texas heat, energy experts say the grid is holding up well, thanks in part to other resources being used in concert. They say because excessive heat puts a strain on traditional resources, we're seeing things like solar energy really overperform and other innovative contributors that will help.
We have currently 3,000 megawatts of energy storage, so batteries that are on the system. That's new. We have 8,000 megawatts of batteries that are coming in the next year or year to 18 months. And so we're seeing energy storage and solar power really playing a much more dramatic role than they were playing even just a couple of short years ago.
Sweltering temps aren't just putting more of a strain on the grid, though. This dangerous heat is also keeping first responders busy. Austin Travis County EMS has responded to nearly 470 heat-related incidents since April.
If you compare April 1st to July 17th of last year, we were at 419. We ran 228 heat-related incidents in the month of June of this year. That compares to 159 incidents in June of last year. So we're way over already.
ATC EMS says oftentimes extreme heat is underestimated, so it's important to prepare before you even go outside by doing things like pre-hydrating and watching the forecast.
You know, Amber, it's been really hot outside lately.
And I really feel like it's going to get more hotter.
Okay, here's Austin with the weather.
The sun is shining over South Dallas today. It's having to make its way through a little bit of haze here, as you can see. So if you're somebody who struggles with high levels of pollution, be sure to limit your time out of doors and take care not to overexert yourself. Currently, our temperature is 94 degrees. We do have a heat advisory in effect. That remains in effect until 8 p.m. this evening. We'll have clear skies all day long, on our way up to a high of 103. After some wow factor temperatures earlier this week, we are going to start to mellow out as we head into the weekend. Friday's high will be 101, but then take a look at these double-digit temperatures for Saturday and Sunday. Love that cooler weather. And overnight lows will stay below 80 degrees, so we'll get a little bit of a break here. That respite will carry us into early next week, where Monday our high will be 99 degrees before we see those triple digits return for the remainder of the week. The highest temperature we're looking at next week is going to be on Wednesday, and overnight lows right around 80 degrees. We will start to see some clouds trickle in here towards the end of the week, so hopefully that will bring us some cooler temperatures. Izzy, it's definitely still summer in Texas, so get out this weekend while it's a bit cooler.
Thank you so much, Austin. Lights out in Hollywood. The Screen Actors Guild's 160,000 members are on strike, likely bringing production to a halt for some of your favorite TV shows and most anticipated movies. They join members of the Writers Union, who have been striking since May. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Actors hitting the picket line Friday, going on strike against television shows and movie productions for the first time since 1980.
We are being victimized by a very greedy entity.
The SAG-AFTRA strike, crippling a TV and movie business already limping during the Writers Guild of America's strike. Both guilds are upset over compensation in the streaming era.
There's a whole middle class of writers and actors that is disappearing because they're making it more and more difficult to just make a living.
Along with better pay, actors say residuals for past work have been dried up since the rise of streaming services. Concerns about artificial intelligence are another sticking point in negotiations. Studios say they've offered the highest % increase in minimum pay in 35 years.
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing.
For viewers, the impacts on their screens could be felt by the end of the year.
The movie productions will shut down. TV productions have shut down. Many have already shut down because of the writer's strike. So we're going to see, season premieres happening much later.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The Cowboys are off to Oxnard. The Rangers welcome the Dodgers.
Timeline Sports, it's next.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
A great way to start the second half of the season for the Rangers. A 3-game sweep of Cleveland and Tampa Bay. They swept the Rays back to Florida and out of first place in the AL East. Tomorrow, they start a series against the Red Hot Dodgers at Globe Life. With the win, the Rangers will send a message. Winning the American League pennant and the path to the World Series could run through Arlington. The Cowboys will report to training camp Monday in Oxnard, but may be without one of the key pieces. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, All-Pro guard Zach Martin is considering not reporting to camp because he is unhappy with his current contract while the team lacks interest in restructuring. A source close to Martin states that he is, quote, woefully underpaid relative to the market, end quote. He is coming off his 6th first-team All-Pro season and is paid $7 million less than guards Quentin Nelson and Chris Lindstrom. Another Cowboy that is looking for a new deal is running back Tony Pollard. He signed his franchise tender Monday worth $10.9 million with the hopes of getting a new deal. Pollard is coming off ankle surgery that he suffered in the playoff loss to the 49ers. This will be the first season for Pollard to be every down back with the release of Ezekiel Elliott. The U.S. Women's National Team is gearing up for their opening game of the 2023 Women's World Cup, but it will be without captain Megan Rapinoe, as she has announced her retirement earlier this summer. Before her retirement, Rapinoe was part of the group that was vocal in the campaign to help the women's national team receive equal pay to their male counterparts. Rightfully so, as the U.S. women's team has won 4 World Cups, most recently in 2019, while the men have never finished higher than 3rd, but that was way back in 1930. To come away with it all this year, the women will have to make it out of a group that includes the Netherlands. The two teams met in the finals of the 2019 World Cup. Game 1 is tomorrow at 8 p.m. versus Vietnam. Amber, Izzy, that's your Timeline Sports.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. The family of the teen killed in a boat crash linked to the Murdaugh family has reached a $15 million settlement with a convenience store company. Mallory Beach was killed in a boat driven by an intoxicated Paul Murdaugh when he crashed into a bridge with 5 friends in 2019. Beach was tossed into the water and was killed. Attorney for her family says they believe Parker's Kitchen made the illegal sale of the alcohol that led to their daughter's death.
A new study is highlighting the dangers of opioid use in older people with dementia. Opioids have become increasingly common among dementia patients to help manage pain, particularly formulas that are applied to the skin. The study looked at 75,000 Danish dementia patients above the age of 65 over a 10-year period. Within the first 6 months, 1/3 of the patients using opioid died. Researchers say those potent painkillers can affect heart rate, breathing, and swallowing. Many older people already have challenges with those functions, and elderly people with dementia are even more frail due to the brain disorder. Doctors say opioid therapy should only be used if the benefits are thought to outweigh the risks. Coming up, keep it here. You're watching the Newsfeed.
All right, I'm in the house.
Okay, what do you see?
Nothing yet. Hold on. I think I just heard something. I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, I am almost there.
I'm in the bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's not here.
What?
The gun's not here.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Cameron, are you in there? Open the door. Cam! Come on, Cameron.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
An unopened first-generation iPhone just sold at auction for a record-breaking $190,000. That's more than 317 times the original retail price when it was first offered in 2007. This phone is considered the holy grail because it has a total of 4 gigabytes. It was discontinued after 2 months because customers preferred the 8 gigabyte version. The auction company says it's the first 4 gigabyte factory-sealed version to surface. This model belonged to a member of the original Apple engineering team when the iPhone first came out.
A Texas grandma has heard from people across the globe after a picture of what appeared to be her baking bread in her mailbox went viral. But did she really do it? Nick Notaro caught up with her in Houston.
This right here, this is the mailbox. You may have got those images of the grandma that was making bread in it. She pulled the bread right out of the mailbox right here and said it was baked in the mailbox. Well, we tracked her down and found out exactly why she did it.
This parcel has reached more people than this Montgomery County grandma could ever imagine.
I have been contacted by people I've never heard from, countries I've never heard from.
Hundreds of people wanting to know how Roberta Wright did it. This week, she shared images on social media of what looks like her baking bread with her mailbox, an idea sparked by the recent string of Houston's hot, humid days.
And that kind of triggered, what else could you do if you have to use your oven mitts, if it's that hot there, and inside a rusty old mailbox, what could you do? So,
a viral post that sparked suggestions on what else the mailbox could be used for.
Can you put a pizza in your oven? Well, it's a little narrow, but I'm willing to try. It's kind of fun.
A function that saves money on electricity, but could create issues for Roberta's deliveries.
I bet it would be a nice surprise for your mail carrier. And my response is only bake on Sunday, no mail delivery.
If the story seems too good to be true, it's because it is. Roberta says while she shared photos of herself baking bread in the mailbox, it was all in fun.
But, you know, if it's on the internet,
must be true.
A lesson this grandma says isn't only found in her mailbox, but in the pages of her new book.
It's the storytelling of your imagination. Could it get hot enough? Could the yeast rise and everything like that?
A fiction partial that's reached more people than she ever thought possible.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Newsfeed this week, everybody. Stay cool, stay safe,
and have a great weekend.